Good afternoon. Welcome to the Nip and a Half podcast. Paul, it's been a while. How's it going?
It has. Yeah, it's going all right. Fergi, yourself?
Yes, I'm really good, mate. I've just finally moved house. So for those watching on YouTube, you can see where a little bit of work underway with the white walls, but the very faded coloured yellow doors. So so please don't judge me. We started on the walls first. So and then maybe a slight echo as well. But yeah, it's been a busy old week. So apologies we couldn't get a nip out last week. I was quite glad last week actually, because I think last week I may have had potentially my worst ever fantasy week of all time, or if it wasn't, it was ridiculously close. Do you ever have weeks where things aren't going your way, and then you'll just have
Yeah,
something in one format which will make you go, oh well, at least I've got him in Telegraph, or at least I got a sneaky clean sheet off in DreamTeam. I didn't have one in any format, and it was really painful. So I'm really glad I was moving house last week.
an abundance of Arsenal defenders and no Cole Palmer.
Now
Kind of sums it up.
that'll do it. And
Yeah.
yeah. I suppose we may well start on FPL, but I wildcarded last week as well and took out 3 goal scorers and a clean sheet. No, sorry, 2 goal scorers and a clean sheet, and benched another goal scorer, and then didn't have any returns over my whole team apart from Mbeumo, I think it was. It was so painful. Did you wildcard last week?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I think I marginally did better than you, but only marginally. I went with double Bournemouth midfield, so I had Tavernier, which I think scored 4, and against one of your players that maybe scored 1 or 2, and I think that was the only difference between our teams in terms of scoring. Because I had Chris Wood who blanked. I think you had Calvert-Lewin maybe.
And Wood.
Um, sorry, you had sorry. Well,
Yeah.
I've got Solanke as well then, so
Okay,
I
got
did.
the
I
assist.
did get a few extra points there, but it wasn't that much better. But I still look at my team and like the weekend just passed there, and then the weekend like for the running, I'm pretty happy with with the way it's set up as well. I guess you play 2 of the worst teams in the league at home, and you've got the best defensive stats, and then you're giving up like expected goals of like kind of 0.3 or 0.4, and still managing to lose clean sheets. I'm not a complete variance guy, but I'm also not a complete like what's the difference? Like they talk about laptop versus grass or whatever it is, but I'm somewhere in the middle, but I can accept that. I'm not too disheartened by it. My rank just now is about 2 million, which
Yeah.
is the worst that's probably ever been at this stage. But as I say, I look at my team and it doesn't. I don't think it looks bad on paper and set up for a bit.
Yeah, mine's the same. We've got, like, looking at my team now for net, I scored was it 58 this week, which was enough for a fairly hefty green, which is nice. I was like 3 million last week. I doubled my rank last week with that horrible wild card. Dragged it back a bit this week, 58. But I'm looking at my team and I've already got benching headaches, and I've got 3 free transfers as well. So it's tough. I think I'm going to bring Solanke in next week. I know you've got him. Have you got Johnson yet?
No, I don't have Johnson in any format.
Oh, okay.
Talk about the others as well. I think probably Dream Team is the one where I'm considering them. But I'll talk about my plans there. So I've got 2 free transfers, and I could obviously get Johnson in as well, which I may consider doing. And yeah, I'm not wed to anything at present though.
Yeah, I'm wed to get in Solanke in next week. So I've got Haaland, Calvert-Lewin, and Wood. Bench Wood this week, as you do, for his hard game away to Chelsea. Did nothing in a nice plum home game last week. But yeah, decent team. But Johnson, Saka, and Mbeumo, Rodgers, Haaland, Trent, Gabriel, Saliba, Lewis, just a rock solid team. Really good bench as well. Just not quite happening at the moment. But you just got to trust the process with it, I suppose. And just as I say, I've got the transfers in hand, and I'm hoping that's my kind of edge, is that when people start to run out of their free transfers in like a week or two, when they use maybe 1 then 2, and they've only got 1 a week, I'm hoping to try and hold on to 2 or 3 for maybe another few weeks, so I can pivot quickly, whereas I'll find it a bit tougher. So But yeah, both of us probably toiling a bit in FPI. It's probably fair to say. Don't feel I've done much wrong. Just before we
Yeah,
go
I
on,
think I might bring in Johnson. Like I've got 2 free transfers. I could bring in Johnson this week and then roll one. But I think double up in Spurs attacks probably going to be a sensible play. Um, I've got Flecken and goals, and I know Brentford are horrendous at the
same.
back, but I don't know that I'm that bothered. I don't know that I'm that bothered about wasting a transfer in goals. So
Was the Raya leak? Was it, or would you have gone for Raya if not? Or
well, possibly, but then I can't think of whenever a 5.5 keeper's ever worked in this like in FPL.
well,
So
he worked in the first sort of 4 or 5 weeks of the season, didn't he? He's getting like lots of bonus
yeah,
points as well. But
yeah. I looked at the fixtures and I thought, well, it never worked out this way, but I thought both Leicester and Southampton have been dreadful at defending goals from set pieces this season as well. What's Arsenal's speciality? Attacking set pieces. So I was like, oh, I'll just go the Saliba Gabriel double up. Like, no concerns there. What's annoying is that I possibly would have got, if I had went right, I was lining up Pinnock as the other one,
don't.
and obviously got the
Yeah.
goal at the weekend there. But I'm not overly disheartened about it. I think there was method to my madness.
So we move on. Welcome everyone in the chat. Adam Byram is in. Ian Parring, Cloud Sky Fantasy, says, "Evening, gents. A bit of advice for a Sun Dream Team newbie, please. With so many underperforming players losing value this week, what is the best practice to follow ahead of the upcoming double game?" We'll touch on that next. We'll touch on Dream Team next. And Adam says, "Nice move to Umbuemo in some Dream Team, by the way, Paul. Interested to hear your thoughts moving
Adam's
forward."
already got him.
Oh, has he got
Adam's
him
already got
already?
him. Yeah, he's had him for ages, and he's obviously been on a massive streak. He's
Yes.
doing really, really well on the leaderboard as well, Adam. So
Chris Harvey is in. Gary Plant, FPL Sparta. And Viney says, "Even though I love this podcast, thought I would miss the old Sky one, but this is equally good, if not better." That's good to hear, Viney. Great to have you with us. Phil Speck is in, JC and Bobby Shearer. Thanks everyone for joining us on this Monday evening. We are doing this probably a week earlier than we should. Paul's away next week, but we wanted to get one in because we haven't done one for a week or two. So yeah, on to Dream Team, and I suppose spoiler alert off Adam there, Paul. You actually transferred in Mbeumo in this week as well. So what's your thinking around that?
There's a thread or an email, a Twitter account that I followed, and I recommended them when I did well on Sky. Well, I won the Sky game that season, so I was looking for a bit of an edge and something a little bit different from other content. And there's an account called Gono who looks at where teams are good at attacking in various different phases and like sides of the pitch, whether it's right hand attacks, left hand attacks, central attacks, and then looks at the opposition and where they concede most of their chances as well, and then makes up an optimal team of 11. And I had been floating with the idea of running Buemo anyway, and knowing that Wolves at home conceded the most goals this season. It's a fixture. Now, there's obviously a downside with that, in that he's a non-European player. So when it comes to next game week, so I brought him in initially as a 1 week punt. Knew I was getting a rise from the previous week, playing Wolves, plum fixture. Knew that he was a massive differential as well. So I did start wavering towards the end of the week. I messaged you and said, "Do you think I'm mad?" Or like I could get someone like Brennan Johnson and know that he's getting the 0.3 rise. And Buemo will end up going up 0.1, which was disappointing, but I've got a theory behind that as well. So it all boiled down to, would I be more disappointed with myself if I didn't go on knowing that I was set on him all week, or flipping at the last minute? So I stuck it out. Now looking at it though, I'm thinking I'm holding him all the way through, or not all the way through, but Man United away, which I don't know, isn't necessarily a
One.
bad fixture these days.
Yeah.
But the following week is a Carabao Cup double, so league game, Carabao Cup. Brentford's 2 fixtures are Ipswich at home and Sheffield Wednesday at home. Now, Brentford have been massively rotating in the cup to date, but this is an opportunity to get to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And Brentford's league form is decent enough that I sense that he might play a strong team, knowing that that's the goal at the end. I could be wrong, but I just think even as a single at home Ipswich, we saw players that haven't had as much form this season, like Bowen, did really well at the weekend there, and Antonio from an attacking sense. So my initial plan was going to be moving in Buemo and Trent out next week to get Porro and Foden in, or I knew that I had enough money to do that. And now that would actually cost me money in terms of expected rises.
Yeah.
So I think I'm leaving it. I think I'm leaving Buemo in. I've got an Anna on my team who, whilst is likely to be fit after the break, I think I could do with getting a goal scorer midfielder in for him. And therefore Onana in goals and Onana in midfield to Martinez in goals. That gets me a predicted 0.2 extra rise, and he's cheaper. And then Brennan Johnson in midfield, who's probably going to rise 0.3 as well. I think sets me up really, really nicely. 10 European players plus in Buemo. Got the Carabao Cup fixtures the following week, then potentially move them on. So that's my current thought process on that.
Yeah, I like it, and I gotta be honest, I'd missed that double in game week 9, Ipswich Sheffield Wednesday. I think I'll be bringing in Buemo in for that week because he's you say he's your man in form on penalty. He's just absolutely on fire. Yeah, he's he could even be a really good captaincy option that week, depending on if we think that Liverpool, City, etc. will rotate their players in the Carabao. I'm not sure if they will. Mind you, Man City are home to Southampton on the weekend, which is about as plumb as it comes.
Spurs.
So, and it's
Spurs are
midweek.
Defending's not their strength. Right?
No, interesting. But no, that is a really good shout. You're doing well in Dream Team, aren't you?
Yeah, 520th overall.
Nice.
So, and most of the moves that I've been making to date has been building budget every week as well. Yeah. So I've got a healthy, 57.6 my team value just now as well. So yeah, really happy. I've had Onana in goals as well, which, considering how bad Man United's been, he's actually done okay for me in that period of time as well.
Yeah, I'm 3.5k. Same budget as you actually, 57.6. Got 72 this week. I've been stuck with Sal's. I've still got Sal's, but he's definitely going next week for Martinez for the rise and fixture anything else. So I've only got Sal's and Eze now, who are my two single game players. But I've been let down by probably Spurs representation in the Carabao over the two games. I didn't have John. I had Porro and Maddison. I don't think Maddison's played in either, and Porro's only played in one, so that was really disappointing. Got Johnson in this week. Got Lewis in this week as well. So yeah, our teams are actually, I think, I haven't looked at yours, but they sound pretty similar, I think.
I'll be set up Martinez, Lewis, Guardiola, Trent, Saka, Buemo, Rogers, Johnson, Solanke, Haaland, Salah.
Yeah, because my two moves I think this week are going to be Sal's and Eze to Martinez and Solanke. So I think we're very, very similar indeed. But yeah, and I'll probably have a look at Buemo the following week, depending on who's kind of injured and stuff. But yeah, sounds like you've definitely caught a march of me on a couple of players. The Onana keeper move was really good, and you also spiked a little bit of luck with Onana's midfield goal, and you have the nerve. You have the nerve to text me midweek while I'm like reeling from my Onana. What was it? Onana. What's his name? Like, fuck off, Paul.
It was when I moved I moved in the Everton midfielder. He got the goal.
He got the goal. He did.
I played him 1 week after to get the 0.3 rise, and then moved him on to Onana the following week.
Yeah. No, you need. This is. It's just well played. You obviously need, that's just a bit of rub of the green in it. The fact they both scores, it's just rub of the green, that is. But it's it's well played, and you're managing your budget well, managing your team well, and having a good start there. Like I say, I'm not too far behind. I don't feel, and got all the chips still and stuff. So I think we're both much for muchness there. Welcome, Paul Jones, in the chat.
A couple of loose plans I've got, like in Dream Team. So I'm considering taking Trent out the following week. I do think that fixtures aren't great. That price point isn't great, and he's probably going to get a couple of budget losses over that period of time, I would suspect. And what I want to build to is when the European games finish up at the end of November time, is getting like Foden is a good asset prior to that, but I want a midfield that's got the heavy hitters that include Palmer at that point in time, where like he'll be playing 2 games a week because it's a Premiership as well. And there's a game week, I think it's game week 12 as well, which I think's prime for the goal boost as well. So I will plan loosely towards that if it doesn't feel right at the time or whatever. You know, if I'm taking players out because of budget or injuries or whatnot, then I'm not going to shoehorn into it. But I've got kind of loose plans on that. Hopefully that answers Ian's question as well. Like every move that I make, I'm looking at 2 different things. And like the 2 main things are building budget and bringing in players that I might want longer term, so that I'm not cornering myself into future moves necessarily.
Definitely, yeah. And if you're on the fence with the pick, just go for the budget one. I mean, I don't normally do it as much, but the price rises seem to be pretty aggressive this year. Notice after the first week, they're just 0.3s across the board. They're absolutely massive, aren't they? So taking advantage now and yeah, looking ahead a bit, similar to Sky, obviously, of just what is coming down the line as well. That sort of dual thought process. You won't go far on there, but obviously you need a bit of luck with who gets the points.
I've got a theory. I think a lot of people were disappointed by the price changes the weekend just gone by, but for me, it was one of the highest scoring weeks I can remember on Dream Team, and there was a loose explanation of how the price changing worked that was published by Dream Team last season, and a couple of the factors was how the person performs against the price point they're at, which I think is generally how we think of it and how we calculate in our heads about who's likely to go up and who's not. But there's a couple other things to factor in as well. What's the points prediction for that player, which we have no control over because that'll be set in the engine itself by Dream Team. And then the third one is, think of it as a stock market. Everything can't go up at the same time. Everything can't go up at the same time. So whilst things are going up, things are going down. So like almost curve marking, if you like. And I think that the latter point is largely what filtered into like Wemo only went up 0.1 last week. I think he scored 10 10 points for his 4.1 million or whatever price point he was, which you would expect more. Now, the anomaly to that is Foden, who didn't score particularly high and is at a higher price point and went up 0.2. Now, I don't know if that's then as part of the algorithm thinking that Foden wasn't going to play in that match and then perhaps outperforms what they think is him not playing or whatnot. But just some of my thoughts that are largely unfounded, but with a hint of educated guess.
Interesting musings there, Paul. I like that. That's good stuff. Just for those who do want to have a look at some predicted price rise, if you go to ffstaff.co.uk, click on the Some Dream Team tab at the top, and there is a predicted price rise thing, which is absolutely fantastic, and it helps guide my decisions every single week. You can look who's he predicts pretty reasonably well. It's obviously hard. It's still in a kind of learning phase as the algorithm does change every year, but it's it's very, very reasonable, and it's worth doing. Telegraph's been a battle for me so far this year, mate. How's it been for you?
This is one of those ones that if I didn't know that you were doing so badly, I would come in saying that
You've had a bad week.
Yeah.
I've had a bad week when he scored 112.
I've not scored particularly high, but I think I'm maybe like 15 points or 20 points ahead of you or something like that. And I think we're scoring similar, and we've got probably a similar structure of team. Probably. So I've used 4 moves. My team just now is Rea in goals, Gabriel and Saliba, so that Arsenal trifecta in defence, which has done horrendous. The only benefits that I've got out of this is that I moved Rea on for the Man City game, which to get the extra game, thinking that I'll take 1 point at that game or something like that. Move into the 2 bankers clean sheets at home, and he's got like 1 and 2 points after that or whatever the Leicester scoring was it? It was 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Got Gvardiol in defence, and midfield Eze, Gomez from Wolves, who I've got no intention of getting rid of. Saka, Smith Rowe, Haaland, and Mbeumo, and I bought in Solanke for Munoz yesterday after Munoz's injury for Palace. I had the exact money to do it. So again, I'm pretty happy with the structure of the team. I've got no real concerns in there. Yeah, I don't know that I've got that much. I don't know that I'm certainly not planning on any moves. When Chelsea's fixtures open up, I will get Palmer in. I plan to get him in. By the way, you should see how on fire I am on the TFF predictions for the article that I send across them on a weekly basis. Picked Dwight McNeil last week. I had multiple scorers again this week, so I should take some of my own advice for the 1 or 2 game week punts that's going through that, because they're scoring much better than my own team is here.
Yeah, well done, mate. Well played. Yeah, sounds like our team is quite similar. I've still got Munez because I still had I can't even say his name. I still had I can't even say it. I can't do it. Michaelenko. I still had Michaelenko in my TFF team on Saturday, and then I think out of they played six games, and he came back, and then he got injured again. They kept a clean sheet, and then he got injured again. He just hadn't played. I think he's on like 1 point.
Was he not playing it? Was he not playing it the weekend?
No, not for the clean sheet. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Don't laugh.
I can't go. I'm not. I didn't look. I genuinely
No.
I'm not don't own him in any format. I just assumed that he played as well.
He didn't, mate. He's on 3 points for the season. 3, which really stings. He's been an absolute. I'm not gonna swear. I say he. Yeah, and then they get the clean sheet and he's not playing. So I moved him on to Solanke, but I'm in a horrendous rank. Like, let me have a look where I am. I've used 5 transfers. I've used one more than you again, which I don't like because normally I'm a bit more reserved than you. But I'm 34k over. But I've got a good team. I think I have Raya, Saliba, Gabriel. I've still got White. He obviously haven't played the last 2. I don't think I had him at the start. I've still got Munoz. I've got 4 at the back. Gomez, Saka, Eze, Haaland, and Wemo Solanke. It's just like, I think it's pretty solid. I could move Munoz on for someone now. I've only got 2.9 million to move him on. But
so we have got exactly the same team. I've got Gvardiol and Smith Rowe, and you've got Munoz and White, and we've got the same team.
That's it. But yeah. And again, like I don't really mind being too far behind the curve on Telegraph because we know it's a long game, and I think the last 4 seasons I finished in the top 200. I mean, it'll be a challenge from here, being 35k, but 34k, but still, I know, reasonably confident to finish, in the top 1k or 2k, absolutely minimum. So I'm not not to bother that. I was having a look at the average transfers this week, and they're pretty horrendous. I've got them to hand actually, if I can find them.
I saw you publish it in the Hub group chat, and I thought that's Fergie trying to make himself feel better about his team.
It is. That's exactly what it is. Let's have a look. I did have them. I'll see if I can find them now. Oh, where's it gone? This is really good. Top 10,000, they've got 32 left. Top 1,000 have got 25, and the top 100 have got 16. It's pretty.
And that was before the weekend.
Before the weekend, so you can guess they've all dropped again. So yeah, I think we've got quite a few new Telegraph players playing this show, obviously because of the demise of Sky, and I think the advice in this format is just do not panic at all and don't rush. I've made 5 transfers, but like I say, I've had players like Michael. I started off with Declan Rice, which was a poor pick. It's like he got injured and stuff, but I'm keeping every move for me in Telegraph should be a long-term move. You shouldn't be bringing anyone for like a week or 2. So yeah, I've got Munoz, so I might move on, but other than that, then every player is rock solid, and just try and get to Christmas with 25 and 30 transfers left, and you'll do well in the second half.
You can't have much budget because I know that I don't.
No, I haven't. I've got exactly 2.9. So I was having a look of who I could go to for 2.9 or less, and it's Tavernier, and then there's not much more, or there's Dibley, I think is. 2.1, even though he's like, obviously he's kind of losing a spot, but he plays every week.
Who was that?
The Southampton midfielder, I think.
Oh, Dublin. You've got
Dublin, sorry.
Hinshelwood as well.
Oh yes, he's mega cheap, isn't he? And
from Brighton's
he's
2.1 as well. So there is those would be sensible moves, right? Again, if we're talking to people that are that perhaps this is their first season playing Telegraph, because what you're doing there is doing a long-term move as a budget enabler to free up some money, so that when you want to get Palmer in or someone else in, that you've got more choice on the players that you can take out to get to them.
That's it. There's some good forward options in that bracket. Semenyo, Rogers, Strand Larson. But obviously the only issue with that is that you want your 3 forward spots probably for, like, you've got Haaland and Buemo and Solanke. Not going to shift any of them out.
Watkins, Havertz.
Yeah, exactly that. Morsey is a pretty good one, I think, from Ipswich. He got an attacking return. He's good on tackles as well. And there's a lot of Forest defenders in particular who are like really, really cheap. Murillo, Aina, Milenkovic are all like really cheap. So there are options there. Hinshelwood, as you said, he's a midfielder. He's on 21 points so far this season. He's 2.1 million. So yeah, there's options. I'll just leave it. I'm not, I don't kind of rush these things. So we will see. But yeah, tough at the moment, I think, across the board for me generally. But I do know that people accelerate right at the start. They try and get really good starts, and probably my positions, especially in Telegraph, and actually in DreamTeam, I haven't used any boosters yet. I've only used a wild card in FPL, so it is a long game. We're less than a quarter way through, so a bit disappointed, but I do know that it's definitely a marathon, and I'm not too concerned. How about yourself? How are you feeling about the season so far?
Yeah, like the one format that I've had a good start on is DreamTeam, and actually, contrary to some beliefs, I actually want you to do well, but it is because you're my tag team partner in the DreamTeam Tonic League, so I'm often looking for your team to do well, not to the detriment of mine if it's a highly owned player, but if you were to go for a differential player, and I didn't have them, then I wish you luck in those scenarios.
We're third in that at the moment. There's one team, the Millers, are absolutely flying. Wow, they're like 80 points ahead of us. But again, early days, isn't it?
So yeah, enjoying DreamTeam. Telegraph, I feel that this is like every Telegraph season for me.
It is.
Anyway, it's like deja vu. So I'm pretty okay with, like, when you look at it, like when you look at rank, and I think that the moving periods over Christmas, when you've got the extra games that qualify in the game, and then you've got the FA Cup in January, that's kind of where I want the next hit of transfers to be used. I'll hopefully get to Christmas using another 2 or 3. Say I will get Palmer in at some point, and there's nobody else that really sticks out that I necessarily want in the format. FPL, I don't really know how to address the slide, but other than I know that I'm not going to panic and rip up my team from where it is, because I picked that team for a specific reason. The fact that you can roll transfers and do a mini wildcard at some point in time anyway, so I'm not going to use transfers for the sake of it, just to try and force something. I'm not going all out differential to try and gain rank or anything like that. I'm all right with how things are going. It's a nuts season. Like, there's been some heavy swings.
As indeed.
I am predicting in DreamTeam, I think, and not necessarily this game week coming, but the game week after, I think there's a good few opportunities. Everyone's coming off Eze. Got to remember that for me, Eze is one of the best players in DreamTeam, and will have a double, whereas he'll likely start both games in that double as well. I'm not saying I'm definitely going to go for him, because it might mess up long-term structure, but I think there's opportunity there.
He's scored well in both the Carabao games. He scored in both. He got goal and assist. He scored like 21 points in the last match, so he's got pedigree in the doubles, haven't he? He's a really good hold.
Yeah. I don't think I'll do it, but I think there is an opportunity for Max Captain there. If you didn't think Haaland was going to play, maybe that Southampton game just puts you off doing that for that reason, which I totally get. Like, I'd be wanting to do one.
You could have Eze and Mbeumo that week, and go for max captain. That would be a really interesting shout, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I am banking. Well, I'm not banking on it because I've already got him, but I can accept that Wemel might not play in that midweek game as well. But yeah, I think there's opportunities coming up for those that aren't doing particularly well, and I don't think it has to be left field choices that you make. I think there is low percentage owned options. I think Foden this week coming up, I'm probably not going to go there, but I think that's a good differential shout as well. Not a lot of people can get to him with the structure they've set up.
Good stuff. I'm currently lied in 39th in the ultimate leaderboard out of 53. But there's some massive names lower down than me. None more so massive. I know we keep picking out James Ingram every week and where he is, but he is the reigning champion, and this just goes to prove how hard this format is. James is really toiling so far this season. 47th overall. He absolutely walked it last year. So yeah, the swings have been massive. There's some massive names everywhere on the leaderboard. Do you want to read out the top 10 or so, Paul?
Yeah. So
on your 16th, should probably say. Sorry.
39th. Yeah, I'm 16th, and then just running down the top 10. You've got Simon Davis in 10th. Our very own Dan Cox. Our very own. That still qualifies, but Tom Gledel in 8th. Carl Bennett in 7th. Steve Cheek in 6th. Connor Tobin in 5th, Clive Fisher in 4th, Johnny Curry in 3rd, Aled Wilcox in 2nd, and then Ben Lee from Dream Team Tonic is currently 1st overall. 3 single-figure ranks across 3 games, so really good effort from him. 9th in Dream Team, 3rd in TFF, and 11th. Sorry, he's 11th in FPL. Close enough. It is a double-digit rank, but yeah, close enough. He's doing really well.
Really well played there, Ben, and big shout out to Connor Tobin in 5th, and also a few others down below. Captain in Saka in both formats. Brave move this week, but what a move! It's one of those moves that I kind of looked at all week and just couldn't quite get to actually do it, sort of thing. But what a move in both formats! Must have flown up in both.
Yeah. I think it's not going to be not too long before you can start going against Haaland, but his immediate 2 or 3 fixtures, particularly in the Premier League. Well,
Wolves and Southampton next, is it?
Oh, yeah, and they've got Sparta Prague at home in between that as well. So,
yeah.
Whilst I'm not a default auto captain kind of guy, I do think there's times to go against what I've been doing, and I don't think next week's going to be that.
Choose your battles is the thing we're saying it. Johnny Curry JC is in the chat. He's 3rd overall. Very, very well played there, Johnny. Richie is 1.3k in Telegraph with 7 transfers used. That is really good going, Richie. Well played. And Phil Speck says, my TFF teams are struggling. It's first season, but his TFF Cloud team is doing really well in Telegraph. And Noel says, can't figure out Dream Team. Either bottom 5 or top 5 each week, usually bottom 5. Just look at the price rises, Noel, and the clues. When you're making transfers, just go and have a look at players. If you filter by average points, it'll give you a really good indicator of who scores well in this game, and you may have some surprises in there all over the pitch. There's a lot of players who do really well in that format who you wouldn't really expect to. Players like Tielemans, Porro, for example. Even when they concede, still get 6 or 7 points. Madison's another one. He did that last week. Eze, and Saka. I don't know if you saw Saka last week. Did he not get a goal? I don't think he got a goal or assist, did he? But he got 16 points. Not the one just gone. The week before. I don't think he got a goal or assist, but he.
14 points.
Oh, 4. He had 16, but he had the 2 knocked off.
Yeah, so it was 90 minutes played, 2 points. 2 points for shots on target, 4 points for big chances created, a point for tackles, and then the 5 underlying bonus on top of that as well.
Absolutely crazy. So it's not all about goals and assists. So if you are struggling to touch on Dream Team, the average points filter will really help you look at the players who score well. Just combine that with the price rises on FF stuff and with the fixtures on FF stuff, and on Fantasy Football Hub, you know, and you won't go far wrong there.
Yeah, so a few players to target and have a look at this week. Dina, if you need budget from somewhere, he'll go up 0.3. He's playing. He's actually been playing really well as well, not just point scoring wise. All your Tottenham guys, your attacking Tottenham guys are all likely to rise in price again this week. And certainly there's a few others as well worth considering. We talked about Martinez and goals. I think both you and I are going for him.
I think so.
So another 0.3 rise. The Vicario one, we didn't talk much about that. That was a popular move from a lot of people last week.
Well, I would have gone for him, I think, but the fact Martinez and Villa they've just kept back clean sheets against Bayern Munich and Man United. They look a far better defensive team than Spurs, and he's going to rise now, I'm guessing as well, isn't he?
Yeah, you'll probably go up 0.3, and Vicario will only end up scoring 1, but he's getting bonus every game because he's past completion rates and what he does in the box. But yeah,
crazy. Okay, mate. Well, thank you very much for making us out on this Monday evening. Thanks to everyone who has joined us and who's gonna watch it back and listen back. Hope you enjoyed. Give us some feedback. It would be good if you want to see anything else on here. Anything we can help out with. I do like your, maybe players to target. You mentioned then, Paul. Maybe every week in each format we can give our top 3 players. Who we really look at. That'll be good. But yeah, awesome stuff. And we won't be back obviously next week because we're covering this ahead of the international break. Hopefully be back the week after on Monday. Hopefully plenty of points on the board and higher than 39th in the table. I'm going for 38th. Let's go. So, okay, cool. And I'll speak to you soon, buddy.
And you, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye.